What was your biggest takeaway between the two quarterbacks last night and their performances, Pearce?
Well, speaking of the officials, Stafford had a pretty ugly game, and it would have been a lot worse if he doesn't get bailed out on that 3rd and long inside the goal line. You don't get that phantom call, 4th and long in the red zone. That's a low probability shot. They turn the ball over on downs. He doesn't get that final touchdown. He doesn't have nearly the numbers that we expect. 7 yards per pass attempt, 2 interceptions. And we knew Burrow was going to struggle with the offensive line. We knew they would get a couple good drives, but I don't think there was any surprises here. There's some pretty mild, moderate performances by both quarterbacks. They didn't absolutely kill their team, but neither one of them really was the driving force. Sure, Stafford led that final drive, but as you mentioned, boy, there was a lot of yellow flags there at the end that really helped the hometown team win.
Yeah, Matt, I don't think this was like an all-time great Super Bowl or anything. Like, neither team really played as well as they could have. But talking just quarterbacks here, what stood out to you between Stafford and Joe Burrow?
Yeah, it was really just how normal they played. It's kind of what Pearce is saying. Like, this is basically what we expected from this game. Stafford made some big plays, and he also made some mistakes. And I think overall he was pretty average. Burrow was probably bad if you actually call the T. Higgins penalty that should have been offensive pass interference on the long touchdown where Jalen Ramsey's face mask was clearly grabbed. I mean, if that play is called correctly, sure, we can argue about the refs at the end of the game, but like that was a lot more egregious than the defensive holding on Cooper Kupp. I think the Kupp play probably shouldn't have been a penalty. It can be debated. It was close. The Higgins play is not debatable. Like, that was clearly offensive pass interference. And it wasn't even a good throw by Burrow on the play. Higgins just made a crazy move to not get called for that somehow. Like, overall, I think Burrow played below average. Stafford was about average. And, yeah, I guess that's a standout, maybe. I don't think there were too many people expecting that. It was sort of the way I thought it would go. But I did think both of them might have – I thought they would maybe play a little bit better than they did. It wasn't really a great game from either of them.
Yeah, Jeff, do you agree with that? You probably expected a little more out of these two dudes?
Stafford had the exact kind of game that I thought he would. He made I'll give him credit. I mean, the guy still has a live arm. But I mean, this is still the same Matthew Stafford that was in Detroit. He's just on a better team. He makes great throws, breathtaking throws, and then he makes silly mistakes. His interceptions were terrible. I mean, the one in the end zone was awful. And I mean, Pearce said, like, I'm sorry, like, that was not a holding call. That wasn't even. I mean, if you're calling that a holding call, that's flag football at that point. So. Absolutely got bailed out at the end of the game. The Rams got bailed out again. I mean, I think we could talk about that, how this team just has essentially gotten bailed out in like 3 of their 4 wins in the playoffs. But that's what the Bengals are too. I mean, the Bengals aren't like that good a team. They couldn't execute at the end. And yeah, Joe Burrow really didn't do anything spectacular either. But I think the thing you have to, the one sort of saving grace with the Joe Burrow performance is he was going up against the Rams defense, which to me is still like the more elite unit than the Bengals. Like, he was under pressure. He had the worst O-line. So Burrow, you can kind of give a slight pass to. He didn't have a good game, but I still think that, you give him a bit of a pass there. But I mean, Stafford did just enough to win. He needed to get a bit lucky again, but he did. And that's just football, man.